Well, thank you. I'll talk about Ticket to Ride, and I think that it just speaking on a bit of a broader note. I've recently helped Tristan do a distribution deal, and I think coming up in this business, producers have a lot, questioned the way these deals work, the recoupment of costs, and just as producers, seeing ourselves as business operators and looking at the waterfall and looking at how costs are recouped. And this is across the board. This is just the way that the business works, and we have to accept it to do business with, some of the people here, and I've done business with most of the distributors here. It's just the way things are working. But it's interesting trying to explain to a new producer in the current climate, when we're looking at the current modelling and the money that we're expecting to receive for our IP, for the content that we're raising millions of dollars to make, for us to agree to the terms and the cost recoupments and just the normal financial modelling. Now, I'm sure everybody's hurting, but I think that the film producers and investors are hurting a great deal and looking for new business models. For me, Ticket to Ride is about experimenting with a gross deal for producers, whether that's working with existing distribution companies on content that we're able to finance and produce without necessarily having to have those deals in place. Now, we need to, of course, qualify for the theatrical 40% offset, so there is a delicate conversation to be had with Screen Australia, and there's conversations around intent, and we certainly do intend to release things event style to ensure that we qualify for the minimum requirements for the 40% producer offset, because it's a critical and important part of our finance plan. But it's leveraging those completed films for the appropriate deal for the producer and the investors. That's what it is to me. I know that Screen Australia is wanting to do some experimenting in this space. So if we do have a few titles that we think it's too great a risk to release theatrically, or distributors, the distributors in the marketplace, given their experiences of Australian films, don't feel like they want to risk the P&A, and there is an audience we feel to access direct to digital, then we're wide open to experimenting with Screen Australia. I guess the main point really is to support really great filmmakers to make fantastic films without selling all of our rights for very little up front. Then we will create something, then we will show it to people, and the balance of power will shift. At the moment, the balance of power is certainly, even though there's very few of them, with the theatrical distributors in this country. They are hurting. I'm not saying it's an easy business to be in at this time, but it's about shifting the balance of power so that we can try and finance these films without requiring significant advances up front.
And how then do you rise above the noise online? I mean, Google tell us that there's 300 hours of content uploaded to YouTube every minute. How do we reach audiences? Is it algorithms? Is it what?
That's a great question. That's exactly what we're trying to do. The whole point of Ticket to Ride is to make films that stick out, that other people are afraid to make. Mm-hmm. So, Little Death went through the system. Josh tried to get that up for many years, 7 or 10 years. We financed it within 3 months of me reading the script. We're looking for innovative material that other people might find a little risky, but that we really believe in, and we think it will stand out. There's some great examples: 52 Tuesdays, Babadook, Wormwood. These are films that are original. They're a breath of fresh air, and they're selling all around the world. So, in other words, how do you stand out? You make a film that is great and original and innovative and different.